He's one of our favorites. I can't wait for this conversation. We've gotten to do this a few times before, and we always look forward to it. And when you have Brandon Aiyuk have a game like he did in Week 1, I said, Dibs, we got to go get TJ on, and we got to talk about this.
Time to give credit where credit is properly due. Nice little game, Brandon, but it starts here.
It sure does. His personal wide receiver coach, but also our friend, former player, analyst, all of that. TJ Houshmandzadeh joins us right now on 95.7 The Game on Willard and Dibs. TJ, thanks for coming on. And I'm watching that game last weekend, and look, Brandon had already he's a 1,000-yard receiver. I get it, but I'm reminded of the draft. The Niners move up and get him in the first round, and I called you that night and had you on the show, and you were like, "This dude is a dog. Wait until you see this." Did you foresee it looking like this?
I saw it looking like that sooner. So, he's super talented. And for whatever reason, he just hasn't done it sooner. It could be learning the system, getting the feel for the game, the coaches being comfortable with him, or the quarterback being comfortable with him. Since Brock Purdy has been a quarterback, he leads the team in targets. And so him and Brock have that rapport with each other. But BA has always been extremely explosive, talented. It was just a matter of when for me.
And are you surprised that it happened so suddenly here in Week 1? Or you're probably not as surprised because you've seen all the work that he's put in. Can you give the audience a sense of how much work Brandon's put in and exactly what sort of work to go from where he was in the doghouse, so to speak, to now where he is in the penthouse?
See, him being in the doghouse has nothing to do with how good he is. That's whatever transpired to, I guess, quote unquote, put him in a doghouse. Even when he was in a doghouse, he could still really play. And it could be a number of things that Shanahan didn't like that he was doing, but it wasn't his play, and his ability was not one of them. Like, when you have success on a large scale, and this just goes for anybody, specifically BA, though, you got to work so hard. I don't think people understand the type of work that these guys put in. You literally are dead tired. I got another one. Probably got 3 or 4 more. And it's every day. You wake up, God, I don't feel like working out. You're going to get your butt in that car and go work out. And it's every day. And so you literally have to tell yourself, I got to go do this. I got to go do this. Because there's just certain days when you get out the bed, you just don't feel like doing it because the way your body feels, and you block that out and you go work because you know what that work is going to do for you down the road. And from the day that I saw him, he didn't need me to become what he is. I helped him, but he was talented way before me.
TJ Houshmandzadeh is with us. A couple of thoughts on going back 2 years to when Brandon was going through that. First, I want to ask you, how involved were you in that then, right? Did he reach out to you? What was going on, and how did he get out of it?
We would exchange messages here and there. It's not one of those things where it's like, bro, what's going on, or this is what they doing to me. When you're as talented as he is and you're in the doghouse, it's something that you're doing that the coaches just don't like. And I can say whatever. What I say doesn't matter, because you need to go handle that with the coach or coaches that are putting you in that doghouse. And so for him, it's, let's figure out why. 9 times out of 10 as players, we have an idea. We may just want to hear it, but we have an idea why we're in a doghouse, because I can see things a certain way. A coach may see it a certain way, but if I do things my way and he doesn't like it, it's not, my way isn't right, because ultimately he's the one that makes the decision on who plays, who gets the ball, who the plays are designed for. And so we got to be on the same page with that. And that does come with maturity. We all come into the league thinking we're going to tear it up, and you just kind of have to learn it. You're taking baby steps, and he's figured it out.
And then, TJ, I wonder if, take the game this week, if you sort of felt like that was a full circle moment. Go back 2 years. Kyle doesn't like the way that Brandon's working, feels like he's feeling himself a little bit too much. And now he's being lauded for these downfield pancake blocks and being like the ultimate teammate. Did you see Sunday as maybe a little bit of a full circle moment for him?
Football is the ultimate team game. You got 10 guys do the right thing. One guy messed up, play don't work. And so when McCaffrey broke that run, BA is doing what any teammate is going to do. How many passes did he catch just this past weekend, let alone over the course of his career playing with McCaffrey or whomever else, and they pick up blocks for him. And so all he is doing is what we all should do. My teammate has the ball. Let's get to the end zone. And if I have to pick up a block along the way, pick up a block, I'll do. And so that's just what people and he will do as a football player. Like, he plays much bigger than his size. Like, you see him, it's like, oh, he's not very big. And then you go against him. He's long, he's strong, extremely explosive, extremely fast. But the block, that's just being a football player.
How much does this offense benefit Brandon in terms of the way they run it with the 21 personnel and being in really run heavy, but also the play action to where you have all these other weapons. You got Kittle and McCaffrey and Debo on the other side. He's going to get a lot of one-on-one coverage. Does this play right into the hands of what Brandon does best?
Kyle Shanahan is just so good, man. Just the way he's able to take advantage of matchups. And he's done this for years. This isn't his first time somebody's saying this about Kyle. He's been one of the better play designers in the league. And as you see, people have kind of mimicked and tried to copy what he does and what he's doing. But when you do have the type of weapons that you have around you, like you spoke of Debo, Kittle, and McCaffrey, he may tend to get lost. Keep losing them. Because if you keep losing them, you're going to keep losing because he's just that good. And I felt like he should have been drafted higher. I trained other guys in that draft class, and I felt he should have been drafted higher. And so to see his talent finally showing on a consistent basis, that's great. But it's just one game. And to be a really good player in this league, now you got to do it next week. And then you got to do the week after. You got to be consistent and can't just be one game here and there. You want to have some consistency by the way you play.
TJ Houshmandzadeh, of course, a former great receiver himself, but also the wide receiver coach for Brandon Aiyuk and many others joining us here on Willard and Dibs. I don't know if you saw this, TJ, but BA on his Instagram put a picture of Brock Purdy and had replaced the Purdy with just the word him. And I wonder your perspective on the 49er quarterback position and sort of how things have changed from Jimmy to Trey to Brock for this entire offense.
It just seems different with Brock. It just goes to show you, man, that the draft is such an inexact science because he was the last pick of the draft. The 49ers give up a king's ransom for Trey Lance, and it doesn't work out. Garoppolo in a playoff game, they're afraid to throw the ball. They're just going to run the ball. And then you get this guy in Brock Purdy, goes to Iowa State, Mr. Irrelevant, and his first start, and you're like, okay, pretty good. Second start, like, oh, pretty good. And every start has been, oh, wow, he's better than pretty good. And they saw that along the way. You got to give John Lynch credit for drafting him yourself. You know he was that good. Why would you draft him earlier? Doesn't matter. You drafted him. The 49er staff and Brian Grease is the quarterback coach, Shanahan and those guys, they developed them. The 49ers seem to be a team that draft and develop well. You look on the defensive side of the ball with Drake Jackson and Hufanga, like everybody they draft, they just play well. And so that's a good job of coaches developing players that need to be developed.
Is it too soon to look at Brock Purdy and start to put him in a higher echelon in terms of quarterbacks in this league? Or for you as a former player, is it just as simple as once you see it, you know that it's going to be there for a long time?
Because he doesn't pass the eye test, he's not 6'3", doesn't have a cannon arm, he's not unathletic, but he's not extremely athletic. those guys will always get overlooked. And this is what I hate. They'll always say for Brock Purdy, he's an overachiever. Nah, he's not an overachiever. You just evaluated him wrong. That's all that is. They'll always call him an overachiever. He's not an overachiever. He was just evaluated wrong. And so I believe you would have to see Brock play, in essence, a full season. So let's see what he can do with 17 games. I'm going to just take a guess and say in 17 games, he's probably going to go 14-3, 13-4, because I don't count the Eagles game in the play. He got hurt, although he started the game, and that's a loss on his ledger. I don't really count that, but Brock Purdy looks like he's the goods. In the 49ers, you got a guy on the second year of his deal. You can really just load up and make the team better around him because he's making minimum.
TJ, circling back to the comments you just made about Kyle Shanahan a few minutes ago, I don't know to what level you're aware of this, but there is a healthy back and forth about Kyle amongst the 49er fan base. Not necessarily a hot seat, but some people don't, they think he's smug, arrogant, overrated as an offensive play caller, hasn't won the big one, all that stuff. Do you think that Kyle Shanahan is underappreciated by this fan base?
The fact that they say that, they're crazy. They're crazy. I mean, outside of Harbaugh, what have the 49ers done? Outside of when Harbaugh was a coach, he's arrogant. So? If his arrogance offends you, that's a you problem. This is the best way to explain it. You have your wife and you complain, you get a divorce. You get another girlfriend or wife. And then you realize your wife wasn't that bad after all. You can't go back and get her. Go ahead and get rid of Kyle Shanahan and then see what it's like. See what it's like then. What you going to complain about then? Oh, man, I wish I could get my wife. Oh, you can't get Shanahan back. He was somebody else. Shanahan is one of the best coaches, play callers, play designers in the league. And I think when you've had as much success as the 49ers have had, you get you expect so much. And so when things don't go your way, he's arrogant. His play calling is not as good. He's never won the big one. Winning the big one is kind of hard. There's plenty of great coaches that haven't won it. I believe the 49ers winning it will come soon. But them fans need to look themselves in the mirror before they start criticizing Shanahan, because that man is the truth.
And you played for a number of different head coaches, different types of head coaches. How difficult is it for any head coach to go in there and not only win the locker room, but be able to keep the locker room, especially a guy like Kyle who isn't a former player?
Man, winning solves a lot of things. As players, you sit in these meetings, you know who knows what they're doing and who doesn't. I played with plenty of coaches, or played for plenty of coaches that I don't know how they got a job. But I played for other coaches that they were extremely sharp, really taught you the game of football. And so players know which coach knows what they're doing and who doesn't. And you just don't have that type of success with anybody that's in the game for the most part. Shanahan's going to do well with. Have they gotten over the hump? No. Do I believe they will? Yes, I do. But I'm telling you, get somebody else in there, and you're going to wish you had what you had, and it's going to be gone. That's a fact.
Amen. TJ Houshmandzadeh with us. Hey, man, I wonder if you have ever been in the shoes, or you can describe the feeling of someone like Garrett Wilson, who last night, all of the hype, the anticipation, and then down goes Aaron Rodgers after 4 snaps. And I'm not a Zach Wilson fan, but we'll see what happens with him. But what's that like? What's that like right now for the Jets, and in particular their pass catchers?
Oh, I'm sure they're disappointed for sure. I mean, you look forward to playing with Aaron Rodgers, and for him to get hurt on the 4th play, I believe it was. It's a punch in the gut. You're like, oh, it's disappointing, but it's over now. You got to move forward with Zach Wilson. You got to figure out a way to make it work. He did make some plays down the stretch to help you win the game, but you can be disappointed. That disappointment better end very quickly, because you have 16 more games to play with Zach Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back into that locker room to suit up this year, so you got to get over it.
TJ, how'd the homework go? You texted earlier, and we felt for you. Like when the kids ask for help with their homework, my God, I don't know how to do any of it. How'd it go?
It's a daily thing. So that's nothing. I'm a parent, and so we got to do parental things.
I hear you, man.
Yeah.
But how old are the kids now? Because if it's high schoolers, I'm like, I don't know how to do what you're asking me to do.
No, I have a daughter. I got two daughters that graduate college, and then I have two elementary school kids. I have a daughter that's 11 and a son that's 9.
Ah, okay.
So you're still able to hang in there with the math, and it's the second go-round, so I'm sure some of it's a little bit of muscle memory.
Oh, yeah. No problem with and if I do have a problem, you know what I do? I go straight to Google.
Google.
Yeah.
I know it. Yep.
That's crazy because I got a couple kids college age too, and the first go round, you couldn't go to Google. You had to go to Ask Jeeves, and Jeeves didn't know either.
Any problems, I go straight to Google. But I will say this. My college age daughters, college did them well. They're pretty smart. So if I run into problems, I just say, hey, I need y'all help with this.
Nice. Ask your sister.
Exactly. Call them. Hey, TJ, thanks, man. Always great to hear you.
Man, I appreciate you guys. Hey, you Niner fans up in the Bay Area, you better appreciate what you have. I'm trying to tell you. I got a great coach. You better quit talking that trash. That's all I'll say. But, yeah, what's y'all done but the best. Now keep up the great work, fellas.
Thanks, TJ.
Thanks,
Next time
TJ.
the Niners
Amen.
have to punt, we're going to run him out of town. That's it. No tolerance. No tolerance for punts.
Great stuff from TJ Houshmandzadeh.
Really good.